So here we have a fairly new release, just came out I think like a week ago or something. But yeah, so this is the Pixie from the Shin Megami Tensei series. So why don't we take a quick look at the packaging and then we'll open her up. So like I said, this is a Figma figure. We got our little buddy down there, that's always nice. In there we got the window to see the figure, but we will see her more clearly in a second. On the side we've got the same info plus just a nice pose of her right there. On the other side, another cool looking pose. The shiny outfit looks pretty nice, I like that. And on the back is, of course, again, just pretty simple, nice, clean images of what the figure looks like. And of course, your technical information. Feel free to pause that and take a look. On the bottom is more of the same, and it looks to be about the same on the top as well. So let's open her up, shall we? So this character is one of the earlier ones that you meet in most of the games. She's kind of one of the first demon characters that you can recruit. And she's got kind of an iconic design. She's on a lot of the artwork and promotional stuff. It's interesting. It looks like it's perforated, so you could maybe pop out that background purple if you want a background for her, I guess. Okay, so we will take a look at her in just a second. I just want to see what else came in here. Looks like some instructions showing how to put the wings in and change the faces, I suppose, as well as how to handle the arms. It's nice, on the one side is English and the other side is Japanese. That's useful. As with most Figma, it comes with a little bag so you can store her parts in there. In here, we've got also a kind of Figma standard, so you get a rack so you can put all the hands on there if you want, as well as a figure stand. 2 sets of wings right there. These look really delicate, so I think this piece could break very easy. This feels like not brittle in a cheap way, but just it's not a flexible plastic or anything like that. So I would be very careful with these. And then she has an extra face, which we'll check in just a second. Okay, so we got the basic stand right there. An extra peg in case one gets lost or broken. That's considerate of them. For the hands, we've got, let's see, a pointing set. Got a set that looks like it could hold something in it. And then just kind of like a relaxed, not quite a fist, but just sort of a little bit balled up. Okay, so let's pop her wings on. We've got these really weird looking flesh pegs sticking out the back. Now, there does seem to be a difference between these 2 wings of how you put them on. So you can see there's a little joint there, so she can fold them up a bit. Oop. Not broken, it just popped off. But it's jointed like that. So it seems like that joint is supposed to be on the back, which means there is a difference which way, which side you put them. So I believe that joint piece is at the back. So when you see her from the front, you don't see that. So just gently wiggle that on. And we'll do the same with this one and hope we don't break anything. Oops, I put this one on upside down. Let me readjust that. Okay, there we go, that's better. Okay, so let's take a look at the figure, shall we? So before I put these wings on, the shoulders, you can see there's a pretty big space there. I wonder why they did that. They left such a gap. It does look a little strange. It's not quite as obvious once you have the wings up. Kind of blends in with that a bit. That is a bit of a weird, unsightly joint there. I guess they wanted to have lots of range for these shoulders, but it's a little funny looking. I wouldn't have minded if they had brought that forward more. Looking closely at the face, so this character, since it's been around in so many of the games, there's lots of different versions of her art-wise, concept art-wise and stuff like that, and then the sprite work in the games and the 3D models. So it seems like they kind of did a general overall look. Like the later versions of her, she's a little bit more mature looking. Here she looks quite young. So I guess they just wanted one that kind of captures the overall look. Although this outfit, I don't remember, this might be one specific outfit with this kind of detailing and stuff. I'd have to go back and check. But overall, she looks well done. The paint apps are really clean on her face and her hair. It looks like the eyes are printed on and things like that. the back, she's got that little, that little pixie haircut style. She's got the pointy ears. She looks a little funny from the side there. But overall, well done. And she's got a bit of range. She can move side to side on her head. She can look down like that. And yeah, back a little bit. The hair stops it. She does come with this other face too, which is looking over to the side, which I might actually switch it to that one instead. It's got a bit more personality, I think. Moving down, she's got this really shiny outfit. I like this this kind of chrome. It really captures a lot of the other colors, the lighting and stuff like that in the space where you have her, so that's neat. And like I said, she's got this nice, cleanly done detailing on the neck and the arms and things like that. Somehow her belly button's showing through as well. How does that work? On the back of the upper area, she's got a hole to peg into the stand. These are kind of unsightly. I'm not sure how they would have done it better, but it is kind of weird looking, isn't it? The wings, they look really nice. They did a really good job. There's a bit of, coloring throughout it. It looks like it's more of like a bluish color here and a little more yellow as it goes up. I don't know how clearly you can see that, but there is some nice shading or variations. And then this is jointed here, so you can bring that up and down if you want her like, kind of flying around like that. Or maybe if she's just perched somewhere and her wings are down, something like that. That's kind of neat. And then she's got her kind of flesh tone going up on the wings, which I guess is kind of gross if you think about it. But I suppose that's accurate, isn't it? And I imagine most people will display her from the front, so it's not such a big deal that those joints are there. It's well hidden enough from the front. She has kind of an upper torso joint there, some kind of ball joint or something. She can move side to side a bit. It's a little bit stiff right now, but she has it. And then she also has this hip joint, which is actually pretty nice. A lot of the time, the figures will have it higher up here, but it looks really well blended there. I kind of like that style. Kind of masks it a little more. And she has a lot of range from that. Which I guess it works well for that kind of thing where you want her maybe floating or something like that. I'll do some poses after, but something like that looks kind of nice. And then for her elbows, she's got quite a bit of range there. The arms too, because she has these weird arm joints, she has a lot of range in the shoulder and the wrists as well. So I'm sure you can capture some of her in-game poses if you want. The bikini cut looks nice. It's, she's got this kind of one-piece swimsuit thing going on. I think they did that as cleanly as they could while still giving her articulation. Let's see, she can open her legs somewhat. Kind of like that. I don't know why you would want her pose like that unless you're a pervert. But yeah, when her legs are kind of normal, it looks pretty clean actually. And then same at the back, it looks pretty nicely done. There's a joint also right here where the stockings or boots or whatever these are joined in. And then her knees go about that far. You can't really push it past that. But also they look relatively clean too, I'd say. And then finally her feet. She's got kind of big feet, doesn't she? They don't look bad, but they do look a little bit long, maybe? No, I guess that's normal. But let's see, she can go up about that high. She can go very far down. Wow, that looks good. And then she's got a bit of a toe joint there, so she can do kind of cute curled toes or things like that when she's flying. So let's try swapping out this face with the other one. So her head can just pop off like that. Then you wiggle off this front piece of hair. Looks like she's got a toupee. Pop that face off, pretty easy, and we'll put in this one and slap the hair back on, unless you want a funny balding pixie. Just like that. Yeah, I like that one. I think that's how I'll pose her, like that. Looks kind of cute. Have her looking over or something like that. Yeah, some pose like that, like she's first meeting the player or something like that. So let's get her on the stand so we can get some flying poses. So there you go. I think it's overall a good figure. She's nicely done. The extra hands and the extra face for such a simple character who doesn't really have anything. She has, a few good extra parts. The wings are really nice. The shoulders are a little weird, but aside from that, not too bad. And by the way, I actually did an interview with the creator of the Megami Tensei novels, the writer of those novels, which this whole series is based off of. Shin Megami Tensei and Persona all came from those books. So I'm still editing that interview and translating everything. So it might be a little bit till it's out, but keep an eye out and I will post that at some point in the future. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about this figure or anything else, just leave them in a comment below and I'll do my best to help out. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.